So in a way, it's kind of a question which I'm not sure would really have occurred to them in some ways, that I think they felt this was their life that they wanted to maintain. But I think you could argue that it maybe did inhibit them. I mean, their style of making war was really kind of hit and run. It was about small, localized actions, ambushes, guerrilla tactics, this sort of thing. And when they were fighting alongside the French tried to organize them into more regular fighting units. And it was clear that this didn't really sit very well with them. And you could argue that maybe if they were organized on more formal military lines, maybe they'd have had more success. I don't know, they had some pretty good success organized as they were. So I think you may have a point there, but I'm not sure that they could have resisted ultimately, because what happened ultimately, what ended the Second Carib War in 1796, was the biggest military force that had ever been seen on this island. It wasn't just the settlers armed themselves and fought back and they won a battle. You had a huge expedition set out from Britain, 5,000 soldiers, with the top equipment of the day, the navy enforcing a blockade. You spoke earlier about how the British armed slaves pursue the Caribbeans that would do the jobs essentially that British soldiers didn't want to or found very difficult to do, and essentially starving them in submission. So I'm not sure that any change in their organisation could ultimately have resisted the concerted might of the British Empire when that was brought to bear.
Well, to the extent that we have an example that we can use where slaves or people of African descent demonstrated the capacity to withstand the might of an imperial power coming from Europe, we do have the Haitian example where they actually succeeded in, holding them off. Okay, so I don't want to speak of any kind of historical inevitability. We do not know. Okay, and
yeah.
But what we do know of the Haitians is that they actually succeeded against the Spanish, the French, the British to hold them off. Okay, and so maybe one way to frame the question is whether it made the job of the British easier. Okay, that not having to deal with a unified political entity with